everyone. This is Susan from the 2015 creative team, and today in ICE Resin World we're going to talk snowflakes. And it's late November and I'm in Southern California, so snowflakes are not readily available, but we're going to make this. What do you think? Here we go. So to start this project, I conditioned some polymer clay in a pearl white, then flattened it out. Now you can do this in a couple of ways. I kneaded it with my hands to make sure it was warm, ran it through a pasta machine, and then flattened it out as you see in the picture. Or you can just use any type of roller. I even sometimes use a piece of doweling, wooden dowel rod, just so you get it a nice medium thickness. For the inked version, I covered the stamp in some Ranger distressed inks, and you can use any color that you want, anything that you really like, and just stamp and press. I pressed hard enough to make an impression, but not so hard to go through the clay itself. You don't want to get too rough with it. For the second bezel that you'll see coming up in the video, I just took the same conditioned polymer clay and kind of rolled it into a ball, maybe the size of a 50-cent piece, and then flattened it down to about ½ inch or so. There's no reason to be too technical about it. I used the snowflake stamp then to press into that ball of clay pretty hard to make sure I had all the ridges and the edges and texture, and then took a circular cutter and just trimmed up the edges. So I started with a large round bezel, and inside placed a thin coat of the ice resin with some mica flakes and a little bit of Aurora Borealis glitter. So that's what I'm attempting to do here with the second, is I'm going to line it this time with just a little bit of glitter all the way across. So some white glue, some sprinkles of glitter, and kind of shake it around like you would flour in a cake pan. Cover that all up as much as possible across the bottom. And I'm trying to shake without dousing my entire table because I am going to pour resin when I'm done here. So I'm going to let that go, and we're going to let that dry. In the interim, I've made a couple of polymer clay snowflakes by taking the stamps and pressing them into soft polymer clay, then cutting them into circles. You want to bake those before you pour resin over top, and just adhere them in place with a little white glue in the center of your already glittered bezels. And you're going to let the whole thing dry, because you don't want the glue to be wet inside the resin. So just press it into place, and I'm going to leave it in a warm spot. For the first bezel, I mixed up resin, and then I poured some of the same glitter into the resin itself and just poured the mixture over the top of the entire thing. And just keep doing that till you make a nice dome. For the second bezel, I left the glitter in the resin, added a little bit more to it, but now we're going to use some of the Ranger ink, alcohol ink in Willow, and we're going to try to make sort of a transparent green. So as you can see, I placed one drop just to make it show green without being overly green, because I want that pearlized piece of polymer snowflake to show underneath the resin. I don't want it to be clouded over, so you can see it's really sparkly and it's a light green color. And just keep pouring until you get a nice thick dome. You can see at this point that green is not too green, because you can definitely see the texture of the snowflake underneath, which is exactly what we're going for. So I'm just going to smooth it around, just move it around. Now that little round thing is a level, so I'm just trying to make sure that my dome is going to be the same thickness all the way around. And here's what they look like. They're ready to cure, and they're full to the brim, so We're going to leave those to cure for 24 hours and keep checking on them before then for maybe an hour or so, but they'll be soft cure tomorrow morning.